The banning of flying drones with mounted cameras in South Africa has caused quite a stir for many media companies. This makes it illegal for any productions doing film shoots, documentaries, television series, or film agencies to actually use drones. This ruling was issued with immediate effect in South Africa by the South African Civil Aviation Authority. This happened on the 30th of May this year. Well, joining us is the owner of an aerial filming company, Jono, Connell, to talk a little bit about this. Good to have you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay, so we now find ourselves in a situation where these aerial drones are illegal. I mean, surely this must affect your business quite badly.
Well, it's a huge effect, not only to the filming industry, but to agriculture, to surveillance, to safety, to preservation of rhinos, to many industries. There's a huge influence. I think what's important to understand is that previously drones were model aircraft or categorized as model aircraft, and to understand what a drone is, you need to understand they are devices that are from the size of your cell phone to a 300 kilogram aircraft.
Okay.
In principle, a drone is something that can fly with full or partial autonomy. That means it's a device that can hold flight in the air without the direct control of a pilot.
Yeah.
So it has like fuzzy logic built into it, if you want to call it so.
Yeah.
But it's important that you categorize them in their different levels as to the sizes and weights of them.
This is the product of one of those drones, and
yes.
what we're showing on screen right now. And I mean, this is now deemed illegal. Why? What's the problem with them?
Well, I think the issue is definitely a safety issue. I think the Civil Aviation Authority are there to try and keep the skies safe, which is all good and well, and they should be doing that. That's true. But I think the mass of these aircraft that have been sold to mass retail outlets is the real problem. People are buying these craft, they're flying them, and you're able to buy a fairly inexpensive craft and fly it 5 kilometers away at night time without even laying eyes on it, and it goes and crashes into somebody's garden. Tomorrow morning you wake up and and you find this little helicopter, octocopter, quadcopter in your garden, and that is really, I think, what has stirred on this problem. The bigger, more professional companies are a lot more safe. We work by risk assessments and by certain procedures whereby we will not fly over public property, and we will not inadvertently go into an area where there are masses of crowds gathering at a rock concert, for example. Those are silly things to do.
Yeah.
But it's the youngsters and the young professionals that are going out there that are doing things that are not professional and are not safe. And it's when they fail that it brings a bad name out into the industry. And what the CAA have now done is done a unilateral ban on everything to try and protect themselves.
Yeah.
But we still have no regulation in South Africa. Australia have had regulation since 2002 that shows you how far behind we are in implementing something. It's not as though these craft only appeared a year or two ago. They've been there for 20 years.
Been a long time.
So we've just been a little lazy in getting our act together.
So what happens now? Do you have to get a license? Or is it a complete ban that nobody's allowed to use them? Film production companies, everything, or is there sort of legislation where
I wish we could get a license. I've sent some documents through now. Hopefully they'll show them on screen where there are procedures in place in Australia. The first thing I think we need to do in South Africa is we need to look at the big bottom platform of the inexpensive drones, the ones that are crashing out the sky left, right and centre. And what we need to do is put a little permit, a little document, an A4 document in each box with every model toy store saying, there are 5 things you should not do. Do not go over other people's property. Do not fly over a public road. Do not fly over a stadium. Do not do this. Do not fly at night. Do not fly out of sight. And get a serial number of the drone. Let them sign, just as you refill your SIM card, you refill your drone. So if somebody inadvertently finds your drone crashed in their garden tomorrow morning, they can take it to the authorities and say, look, there's a serial number, it's attached to a human being, and let's go and talk to this person and say, look, buddy, you shouldn't be doing this. And then we can't claim negligence by virtue of the fact that we weren't told, because in every single box we know, listen, buddy, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. This is how you should be playing the game. But up until now, we've never been given those rules. So we've all kind of just done our own thing. But there's been nothing from the top saying to us, get a license, go and do this, go and do that, which we're all very happy to do. We want to be safe and responsible, but in the same breath, without any rules, we do the best we can. But it is a little counterproductive when there's a statement May 2014, dated May 2014, just saying, boom, it's now, the sky's closed.
So, I mean, let's get back to my first question to you now. What has this done to your business? Because obviously these are tools that you use on a daily basis. And
we're grounded.
So you're grounded.
Okay.
And if you're found to use them?
Well, what they've said, which is still up for debate, is there's a maximum of 50,000 rand fine or 10 years imprisonment. And I've yet to understand or get clarity as to the sliding scale of this fine and how it works and so on. So we're still in a phase of trying to understand what is actually going on with this ban. We're hoping that the CAA, I think what they should do is they should revert these craft back into the model aircraft zone and say within certain parameters, which are 150 feet, not over public roads, not over public property, not over events and gatherings, not flying by night, not flying out of sight. The moment you put those basic parameters in place, you can actually make this aircraft safe. Because if you never flew over anybody's public property, you would never have the ability of crashing into a person in a public space or hurting them. If you crashed into a field, so what? You lose your little helicopter, it's your own fault.
What about broadcasters? I mean, about Paul's working now, but Paul, I'm going to ask you, and I will give the answer. Did we not use these drones? Are these some things that we use as well? Here at the SABC, Paul? Yeah, we do. If I'm not mistaken, did we not use them during the funeral of former President Nelson Mandela? Okay. All right, so here we go. Let me just say what we were told. We were not allowed to use them during the funeral or the inauguration. At the 11th hour, they were banned. So we were not allowed to use them.
And the reality of that is there's a public gathering. The moment you're flying over 80,000 people packed like sardines, it is dangerous.
It is dangerous.
It's logical that this is a dangerous thing to do. Would I put my child in there and fly over his head? No, I wouldn't. Yeah. So I think that would be a rational thing to do. But when you're flying over a controlled area where you have control over the people and the space below you, then I think it's perfectly safe, or it could be safe.
Could be safe. Again, every morning during the laying in state of our former President Nelson Mandela, when he was transported along those roads in Pretoria, we used drones. We did use them at that time. So now, even as broadcasters, we don't know how to use that anymore.
Correct.
Do you feel, to a certain extent, this hasn't been thought out? It was an irrational decision? I mean, perhaps the way to go was to say, right, guys, here are the strict rules now in using drones, not just ban them outright.
You know, I used the analogy in the past when the government changed the act of smoking and say no more smoking indoors, they'll say 1st of April 2015, no more smoking indoors. We give you a window period to become prepared for what we're wanting to do. These are the things you're going to need to be able to do in order to be legal, but we give you a window of opportunity to make yourself ready for it. As opposed to just saying, from today, no more smoking indoors. It would collapse our economy because shops, casinos, restaurants would not be able to open their doors. It's a simple thing. So I think the same principle should be applied here. We should say, yes, they are dangerous. Okay, we've been lazy for 15 years. We're sorry. Let's put this in place. Let's start by licensing the guys, get details and serial numbers of the bulk of them that are going out there. Let's license these guys and get them a little A4 document so they know what they may and may not do. That's a very good start. And then B, let's go to the professional guys, make sure they are professional, give them risk assessments, give them code of conduct to sign, and do not let them do crazy, reckless things. If they do, then you fine them. But if they fly in a safe manner, then absolutely, we're losing billions.
Is the door open? Are you able to negotiate with them?
We've been trying very much. We've been in meetings.
Anywhere?
We haven't had much luck, I'm afraid. We've gone to meetings. We've been very open, suggested to offer our help and assistance in any way possible. Offered to pay for inspectors to come on site to make sure that we are capable and technically good. And if we're not, we pay a fee for the inspector, and even that was declined. So we honestly have tried the very best that we can to get even just a few of the professional guys back up in the air so that we can continue to work.
Continue to do something. I'm going to wrap the interview, but is this a common occurrence around the world?
The USA and South Africa are the two big ones that are problematic.
That have banned it. The USA banned the use of
well, there was a case where the FAA in America lost earlier this year, where the judge ruled against the claimant against the FAA and said that the drone was in fact not a drone but a model aircraft. Okay. So there was a groundbreaking case where the FAA actually lost the ruling against them because they said it was a drone and the judge said it was not a drone, it was a model aircraft. So I'm hoping a similar thing may happen here. We don't want to break the rules, we just want to know what they are and we will abide by them.
All right, well perhaps we can get them here into the studio, the South African Civil Aviation Authority, just to talk a little bit more about this, because they have issued an immediate prohibition of the use of flying camera drones in South Africa with no further permits being issued. That's it, it's over. SACAA, that's the Civil Aviation Authority, says the ban of all so-called unmanned aerial vehicles with cameras in South Africa is due to a lack of regulations guiding its use, and that more time is necessary to understand its use, as well as to come up with an outline of how these camera drones could be incorporated into the civil aviation sector. Thanks for sharing your views. Good luck. I hope it goes well. Jono O'Donnell, Connell, I beg your pardon, is the owner of an aerial filming company, talking to us here on the program. Right, let's take a break. See you after this. Stay tuned.